I climbed into my car and pulled away, leaving Molly behind on the porch. She was likely overwhelmed, spinning with confusion, anxiety, and unanswered questions about everything that had just unfolded. I knew this moment was difficult for her, but I couldn't bring myself to stay. The truth I had just uncovered weighed down on me like a boulder. Still, tonight wasn't about confrontation or untangling the mess. It was about taking the first meaningful step toward rebuilding a life, one that no longer included her. As I drove through the quiet streets, the night air slipped in through the windows, cool and steady. The low rumble of the engine gave my thoughts something to rest against. I was searching for a sliver of peace, something to cling to after the emotional wreckage. When I reached Gabriel's house, the porch light cast a warm glow that instantly soothed something raw inside me. The scent of homemade lasagna drifted out to greet me, familiar, comforting. This was what Gabriel and Rose always offered, a space that felt like home, no matter what you were running from. Their faces lit up the second I stepped out of the car. Even as they smiled, I saw their eyes flicker to the tension in my shoulders and the exhaustion behind my eyes. Gabriel gave me a hearty pat on the back, his voice carrying that signature friendliness layered with a note of concern. "Glad you're here, Mason. Come in, relax, make yourself at home," he said warmly. Rose stepped forward and extended her hand, her expression soft and knowing. Her smile was gentle, but her eyes said she could sense I was carrying something heavy. "You look like life's been rough lately," she said with genuine kindness. "Come in, eat something." Their sincerity, so effortless, so disarming, nearly made me forget, just for a fleeting second, the chaos I had left behind. I followed them inside, determined to bury thoughts of Molly and her betrayal, if only for the length of a meal. Over dinner, I tried to keep things light. I steered the conversation toward Wake, asking Gabriel about his team, his goals, and what it was like working alongside him. I was genuinely curious, but more than that, I needed the distraction. But the act of pretending grew harder as the evening wore on. My emotions, once stuffed down, began to surface. Rose, sharp and intuitive as always, noticed a change before I said a word. She leaned in, her voice gentle but steady. "Mason," she said softly, "you don't have to say anything you're not ready to. But if you need to talk, we're here." I hesitated, the silence stretching between us. The truth had been crushing me for days, maybe even weeks. And tonight, it felt impossible to keep inside any longer. With a deep breath, I placed my fork down. The clink of metal on ceramic sliced through the quiet. My voice came out barely above a whisper. "It's Molly," I said. "She's been cheating. Not once, with several people." Gabriel froze, his fork suspended mid-air, eyes wide in stunned silence. The shock in his expression slowly shifted into something more solemn. "Jesus, Mason," he said quietly. "That's brutal. I'm so sorry." Rose reached across the table and gently placed her hand over mine, her touch warm and steady. "I can't imagine the kind of pain that brings," she said, her voice thick with sympathy. I forced down a lump in my throat, trying to keep myself steady. "It's actually worse than I first said," I admitted, my voice shaking slightly. "It wasn't just anyone. It was Brad, my boss. And not just him. A few of his friends. Even his son." My voice cracked. "I have the evidence. I've seen it. But knowing the truth and living with it, it's crushing." Gabriel's expression darkened at the mention of Brad's name. His usual warmth vanished, replaced by cold disbelief. "Brad? That's beyond disgraceful," he muttered, shaking his head. Rose leaned in gently, her eyes soft with concern. "Do you have anyone else you can talk to, Mason? Anyone outside of us who can support you through this?" I shook my head slowly. The reality of my isolation hit even harder now that I said it aloud. "Not really," I confessed. "That's part of why I came here. I needed to tell someone who might actually understand what I'm dealing with." Gabriel's response came with steady resolve. "You've got a spot on my team, Mason. We'll set everything up when you're ready." Rose added with a nod. "And if you need someone, whether a therapist or just a friendly ear, I can help you find the right person. Whatever you need, we've got you." Their kindness felt like a rope thrown to a drowning man. I hadn't realized how badly I needed to feel seen and supported until that very moment. For the first time in what felt like ages, I no longer felt entirely alone. Later that evening, the conversation shifted toward logistics, my transition to Gabriel's company, and how I deal with the unraveling of my marriage. The burden of it all still lingered, but somewhere beneath the weight, a faint sense of hope was beginning to emerge. I didn't know exactly how things would unfold, but for the first time in a long while, it felt like there might actually be a path forward. When I got back to the house, silence greeted me. Molly had already gone to bed, and the stillness was suffocating. I stood in the living room, scanning the space we once shared, this life we'd built, and wondered how it had all come crashing down so completely. Eventually, I made my way to the futon, laid down, and stared up at the ceiling. The quiet around me mirrored the heaviness in my chest. There were conversations ahead that I could no longer avoid, and I had to prepare myself for what was to come. The next day, I confronted her. I held the proof of a betrayal in my hand, extended toward her like a verdict. "And these?" I asked, my tone sharp and cold. "Brad wasn't alone. Molly, his son, his friends, people I don't even know. Did they all just take turns? Or did you leap into this head first?" Her face collapsed into tears. I don't know how it got so bad," she whispered, her voice thick with shame. "It started with Brad, but then I lost control. I felt trapped, ashamed. I didn't know how to face you." "Trapped?" I repeated, disbelief and anger rising. "Don't pretend you were backed into a corner. You made choices, every one of them a betrayal. You let this spiral out of control, and now you're trying to act like the victim." She wept openly, burying her face in her hands. "I know I mess up, Mason. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I still love you." My hand slammed onto the table, the sharp crack echoing in the room. "Don't you dare," I snapped. "You don't destroy someone you love. You don't shatter their trust, humiliate them, and burn everything to the ground, and then call it love. You threw that word away the second you chose Brad over me." She said nothing, just sat there, shaking, tears silently streaming down her face. After a long pause, I leaned back in my chair. My voice was lower now, but unyielding. "This is done, Molly. There's nothing left to salvage. I'll be filing for divorce. There's nothing more to say." Her voice was barely a whisper. "What do you want me to do?" "You'll pack your things and be gone before the paperwork arrives," I said, cold and final. "You'll stay out of my house and out of my life. You chose your chaos. Go live in it." Her shoulders trembled as the weight of my words landed. "I'll go tomorrow," she said quietly. I stood up, unable to even look at her. "Good. The sooner, the better." Without glancing back, I walked out, leaving her alone to sit with the wreckage she created.